Take Mr. Steele into custody, please.
Your Honor, would the court afford me 1 moment to confer with counsel regarding the appropriate remedy in this type of situation?
Okay, all right.
May I say one thing, Your Honor?
Yes, sir, you certainly may. Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me being here. You are removing me against his will, my will. You've taken away his right to counsel. And you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial. And
what it do, what the business is, people? It's your boy That Way with Jack Travis to be precise. You know how we do, you know how we're doing it, man. Back in the thing again, you understand? Topic of the conversation, man. I got a short that's going pretty crazy right now, man. Young Thug and his law situation he got going on. There's been some wild developments the last couple of days, my dog. Check me out, man. We got a couple of clips as always, man. And as always, before I get into it, man, if you like my content, like and subscribe, share this to your people, man. Let's keep this thing going, you understand? But yeah, man, it has been wild, bro. I don't know how much I've been in the know the last couple of days, but as far as this Young Thug trial, man, first, you know, we've got Lil Woody. Lil Woody is like the linchpin in all of this shit. Big time snitch. Lil Woody been snitching like 10, 11 years around here, man. And, you know, interestingly enough, you know, I was watching the video of, because apparently Lil Woody got locked up originally for, if you watch the video, the story I got was that his girl or some girl he was messing with was about to get put in jail. People about to come lock her up. And she called him to get a ride from the crib or what have you. In the video said he dropped her off and then he got pulled over for, like, I guess running through a red light, and then he was on suspended license. That's what they're in there talking to him originally about. Then we venture into the Young Thug territory. It's a long video, man. But apparently, like I say, man, Lil Woody been out here snitching for a long time. You dig what I'm saying? So now, this first little video I'm gonna play is what, you know, what is an interesting part of the lead up to what happened a couple of days ago, right? So let's get into that right quick.
before we call in our jury, it has been brought to the court's attention that Mr. Copeland's counsel, Ms. Bumpus, would like to be released. Is that correct, madam? Yes, sir. Okay, all right. Sir, Mr. Copeland, is it your desire to release your counsel at this point in time?
She fired.
She's fired? Okay. Ms. Bumpus, did you file an entry of appearance? All right. Did you, under the Uniform Superior Court rules, file a motion to withdraw pursuant to the Uniform Superior Court rules? I mean, I know you give an oral notice, but usually it has to be in writing, and he has 10 days to object.
Well, Judge, just for the record, I was never his counsel.
Say again?
I was never his counsel. Attorney Glanville was his counsel, and I was stepping in as a courtesy for judicial efficiency. Filing motion to withdraw.
Well, given the fact that you have represented Mr. Copeland at this point in time, it would seem appropriate that you do need to, in fact, file a formal withdrawal. Even though you didn't enter one, you de facto entered this case by your representation of him, or you telling the court that you did, in fact, represent him. So at this point, I'm not inclined to release you until that's done.
Okay, I'll get that done now, Judge.
Okay, all right. I'm going to make her file a formal notice to withdraw. She's orally told you at this point in time she wants to withdraw. But you're on the stand. You're testifying at this point in time. So I'm not going to let her withdraw at this point.
Well, Your Honor, I just would like to say, before he started testifying, I was fired.
I don't know that, ma'am. That's not something that I have notice or knowledge of. So, that's the whole purpose of the rule, so that we can flesh out all those things. So at this point in time, I'm not inclined to let you go at this point. I'm sorry that you put yourself in this particular situation with you and Mr. Melnick and whatever, but, Mr. Copeland does have rights in this particular circumstance. So file a proper notice to withdraw. I'll give once it's filed, if you file it today, I'll give Mr. Copeland the 10 days, but until such time as I rule upon that and he gets that and gets an opportunity to think about what he'd like to do, I'll go ahead and insist that you remain with us while he's on the stand.
Okay, Judge.
Okay. Madam, I have one other bit of business.
Also, can I approach, Your Honor, with the state?
No.
All right, so that's your player partner, Lil Woody, right there, firing his lawyer, right? Miss Bumpkins, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right. We're thinking that she is a vital player in this thing, man, because she exits, and then a couple days later is when we get the drama that the internet has been on fire about right now, man. But just to give you some background on this thing, if you don't already know. Young Thug, of course, popular rap out of Atlanta, man. He had some gang beef, some gang affiliation, some gang beef with Wi-Fi and Lucci. If I'm not mistaken, Lucci and them are Crips, or some type of a Crip faction, Crip set, what have you. And the YSL Bulls affiliated with the Blood Gang. You dig what I'm saying? Young Thug was affiliated with this guy named Nut. Nut gonna come up a little later on in the segment. I won't spoil the party on him. But Thug was taken into custody, man. This trial's been going on damn near 2 years now. So, like I spoke in the last video, a lot of videos I say, man, this rap game, this entertainment world is a dangerous thing to be in, especially for a certain type of individual. So he got swooped up on a RICO charge. Been on trial ever since, man. It's been a circus. You've had lawyers arrested. You've had hand-to-hand drug sales in the courtroom. You've had pornography playing on the court feed. Man, I mean, just all type of things in this trial, man. But I truly believe after this recent turn of events that Young Thug gonna come home, man. At the duration of this trial, who knows how long it's still gonna play out? Because Lil Woody just seemed to be such great entertainment. Like, they just keep her on the stand every day. I'm not even understanding what's the purpose, because he barely answers questions. He don't understand English. It's just a wild move, man. But let's get into the first of the clips, man, to kind of show you where we're going with this whole thing. This is the big one. This is the judge and Attorney Steele, which is Young Thug's lawyer, getting into the motion that got all this going and set off. So let's check this out, man. Let's go.
The way I understand my constitutional obligations, pursuant to the 6th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution, the corresponding sections of the Georgia Constitution, I'm required to make a full and complete statement to the court. For the record, and if God forbid this goes up on appeal for the appellate courts or another tribunal, commission, or administrative body, I was told, based upon information and belief, that when we arrived at 8:30, 9 o'clock today, we did not come into your courtroom until almost 11:30. And what I found out just recently, this is not waived, is that supposedly in chambers, this honorable court reporter at times, honorable court at times, district attorney or district attorneys from the DA's office, as well as investigators, sheriff deputies, Mr. Copeland and his counsel met together. None of the defense team, to my knowledge, was aware that this was going on. It was told, based upon information belief, that it was told to the district attorneys that Mr. Copeland intended to plead the Fifth Amendment. Then I was told, based upon information belief, that Adrian Love, the lawyer for Mr. Copeland, and this court were together, and Ms. Love made representations that John Melnick supposedly spoke with some attorneys for the accused and wrote an email to Miss Love, to Adrian Love, stating that Mr. Melnick does not represent the witness, and that Mr. Melnick wrote an email saying F you, and then somehow that email was CC'd. To me, that never...
Mr. Steele, can I interrupt you just a second? I'm kind of disturbed because that's ex parte. All that was an ex parte conversation. How did you find out about any of that?
Well, I'm disturbed too. And the reason
I'm asking you a question. How did you find out about it?
I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay.
Scuttle, if you look at SCUDDER versus State, which is 298 Georgia, 438, it's Division 2, 782 Southeast 2D 638, 2016. Our highest court says when a court meets, because Mr. Copeland comes in, meets with the court supposedly made statements, which I assume is somewhat accurate based upon what you just said. We're entitled, Mr. Williams and every other person wrongly charged here is entitled under the Georgia Constitution to be present. That's a critical stage.
It's just like when you meet with me and you and Mr. Adams meet with me and others have met with me. It's those were ex parte for a lot of different other reasons, but I will certainly note that for purposes of record.
Well, I'm going forward. What I was told was that Mr. Copeland said...
And you haven't answered my question yet.
I'm not going to answer that question.
You're not?
No, I will not answer that question.
Why will you not answer that question?
Because I want to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to get anybody else...
I'm asking you, how did you get this information?
I'm not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information...
Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems.
We can have this... I have problems right now.
Okay, I know. Look, I don't want to know about your problems, okay, at this point in time. All I'm asking you at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? Look, if the case gets reviewed, the record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that how somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the court's private ex parte conversations with a party. I mean,
a witness who was sworn in Friday, the court's telling, this is what I was told. If this is not true, not true. This court handed Mr. Copeland.
Tell me how you got the information.
Listen, whatever you want to do.
Tell me how you got the information, then we can go ahead and go forward.
I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is this. I was told, and I hope this concerns the court.
It concerns me that you have proprietary information.
Why is it proprietary?
Or information that you should not be having that was ex parte.
Why?
With a party.
Why?
State of Georgia.
How about the witness? How about Mr. Copeland, who supposedly announced he's not testifying and he'll sit for 2 years, and then supposedly this honorable court, or excuse me, let me rephrase that, this court supposedly said, I can hold you until the end of this trial. Ms. Hilton supposedly said, actually, all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. If that's true, what this is coercion, witness intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for. So I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did.
Mr. Steele, I still want to know, how did you come upon this information? Who told you?
What I want to know is, why wasn't I there? Why?
Sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who tell me who this information was coming from.
I don't want to be held in contempt. Well, I'm not answering that question. That's attorney-client privilege information. I am not answering
attorney-client privilege. Unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out.
I am telling you.
I tell you what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me who if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you in, I'm going to put you in contempt, because that is not attorney-client privilege.
Attorney work product privilege. I am not.
How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you?
I'm not. You should have told me.
You got 5 minutes.
Well, I don't need it. I want to continue.
You got 5 minutes?
This is what I was told. Mr. Copeland made statements that he admitted to killing Donovan Thomas and was. Don't take my notes. No.
Yeah, man. Okay. I'm sure y'all watched that, but I'm going to sum it back up for everybody who might have been dipping around doing other things, paying attention. So, all right. Attorney Steele, right? He goes in front of the courtroom to make a motion, right? He makes a motion basically for a mistrial on the basis of, all right, they show up to court that morning, expecting for court to start at 9 o'clock. Of course, most people show up 8:30, 8:45. Court happened to not start until 11 o'clock. So Mr. Steele and his cohorts are questioning around. Who knows exactly who they went to, but they're trying to figure out like what's going on. Judge is in the meeting. Meanwhile, Judge is in the meeting with the prosecution. A little bird comes to Dr. Steele. And I'm thinking in another world. To Attorney Steele and tells him that apparently this isn't the first time, but definitely as of right now, the judges meet with the prosecution. They have Mr. Kenneth Copeland. Kenneth Copeland is little Woody. They got Woody in there. They having a secret meeting now. I don't know how well versed you all are in law. I'm not a lawyer, but I've watched a couple of different takes. It's very, very, very rare that a judge has ex parte, that's what they call it, ex parte interactions with one side of, the prosecution or the defense. It's just improper. It's very rare that happens. Generally, anytime anyone needs to meet, both sides are present, right? So in this instance, Young Thug's side wasn't present. In this meeting, Mr. Steele said he learned that Lil Woody, in fashion, and Lil Woody did go on to plead the fifth the next day or either that day. He said in this meeting that Lil Woody told him, or, he and his team told the judge, they ended up discussing the parameters around him pleading the fifth. And also in this meeting, Lil Woody confessed to killing Nut. Now, there are several different takes I've heard out here, and they say, of course he didn't, but apparently he was granted immunity for snitching, so I guess he just saying anything, trying to take the heat off his gang, because apparently his gang on his head too. You understand what I'm saying? So let's just examine this. You're telling me that this judge, who has just got a bad rep throughout this whole process, man, like you're having a meeting with the prosecution about this man pleading the fifth. He also confesses to a murder. And you don't, I guess at that time, even if you'd have called Mr. Steele, it's still too late. You dig what I'm saying? This thing has mistrial written all over it, man. It's wild. Why would you do that, Judge? It's like, was this a setup all for it? And like the reason I played that first video, right, is because a lot of people are like, we feel like Lil Woody's attorney was the culprit. They split their unison, they're joining for whatever reason. We don't know what happened, but when watching the videos, you got to feel like Lil Woody is a hard nigga to deal with. You dig what I'm saying? So, we don't know the story behind it, but it definitely happened. You saw the way he came out his mouth with the "she's fired." It didn't seem to be an amicable split. You dig what I'm saying? So, people are leaning towards her being the one that kind of, let the cat out the bag. But at any rate, Mr. Steele knows. And if you look at the judge, it's not like he's denying it. He's admitting that it happened, but he's trying to say that the parameters of it were fine within the law, and there was nothing going on in the meeting that was untoward. But man, if you know anything just about any kind of appearance of propriety in the law, especially with the judge, bro, this has mistrial written all over it. And I think the prosecutors understand that as well.
We would ask that the court fashion a punishment for the contempt that affords Mr. Williams the right during these proceedings while court is in session to both counsel for both of his counsels. For Mr. Steele to be present in the courtroom, he can still be held in contempt. But for Mr. Williams to have representation of both Mr. Steele and Mr. Adams while court is in session, and that the court's remedy does not affect his ability to have his counsel of choice represent him during this trial.
Yeah, so you see they jump up and they pretty much like, Judge, you gotta let him out, bro. Like, you are compromising the integrity of this trial. Like, it's pretty much a dub already, like, but you most certainly have to let him out of jail. And the judge, well, I can't even say he saw the light. He's waffling and he basically stuck with his guns. But there's such a curveball, buddy, and I got it for you right about now.
Attorney Ashley Merchant came to court to represent Brian Steele in this contempt matter.
Judge, just for the record, is it criminal contempt that you held him in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you said you had a hearing earlier today.
No, and with criminal contempt, I told him what the contempt was, and that was he refused to tell, order of the court. If counsel, as you know, if the court orders you to do something and you don't, that's criminal contempt. So I've asked him several times, please just tell me who it is that told you. That I didn't ask or inquire about anything that was said. I just want to know who it was. Okay. Because he's got too much detail of this particular alleged conversation for the court to be concerned about it. So,
And Judge, since it is a criminal contempt, he is entitled to due process. He's entitled to a hearing, entitled to an actual show cause, entitled to the allegations actually written, entitled to a witness list. We're entitled to present our own witness list and notice of that.
Criminal contempt is different. It is on the spot. So he's gotten the due process he's going to get. That's on the spot. I told him. Plus, he's had all day to tell me who it is that is it. So a little different, Ms. Merchant. I'm going to disagree with you, but
well, and
okay.
Judge, just for the record, it's that's direct. So what you're holding him in is in direct criminal contempt.
Yes.
The issue with the direct criminal contempt is whether or not to actually hold a hearing now, whether or not it needs to be held immediately. And the problem is, if you hold him in direct criminal contempt, as you're saying that you did, you are a witness to that proceeding. And so it has to be referred to another judge. Doesn't require recusal. You actually have to sua sponte send it to another judge because you are a witness to the
Mr. Steele, I am going to hold you still hold you in summary criminal contempt pursuant to OCGA 15-1-3, subpart 3, for your failure to comply with my earlier order today. I'm going to order that you be taken into custody, incarcerated at the Fulton County Jail for no more than 20 days for this contempt. Those 20 days consisting of every weekend for the next 10 weekends. And you'll be reporting to 901 Wright Street Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318 at 7 p.m. on Fridays. And you'll be released on 7 p.m. on Sundays. And it's to commence this Friday, June the 14th at 7 p.m. and not to end until Sunday, August the 18th at 2024 at 7 p.m., subject to further order of this court.
Now, after the judge said that Brian Steele was going to have to spend his weekends in jail, Steele had just one request.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm going to file a notice of appeal, but for whatever reason that doesn't take, and you don't give a bond, then I'd ask that I can be with Mr. Williams and we work on our case all weekend, for all those weekends. Otherwise, I can't prepare. I speak with Mr. Williams all the time.
That's up to you, and sir. I will, sir. If that comes to pass, you have my support. I will talk with our sheriff, and we may be able to make that work. Okay.
Definitely not how I imagined my day beginning or ending. Right. I was in a meeting and my paralegal came in and said, "Your phone is lighting up and Brian's in custody." And I said, "Oh my God, call me on my phone. I'm getting in the car. I'm driving down there." During my hearing, the judge is admitting that he had this ex parte communication. And it seems like that should be what everyone's focused on, not whether or not Brian is going to tell him who told him the judge had this ex parte. It boggles my mind that anybody thinks that you could have the lead defense lawyer in custody the entire weekend and this trial continue unhinged. That defies logic to me. So this error is, and what that means in the legal world is that's about as bad as it gets. That means it's reversible. That means that any conviction is going to be reversed because of this.
In steps legally tits blunt. Oh my God. Now, for those of you all that don't know who Ashley Merchant is, I didn't particularly like her the first time I saw her on television. She was involved in the Fannie Willis, Nathan Wade Trump trial here a month or two ago, and she represented someone on Trump's side. So, I didn't particularly look at her in a good light. I didn't look at her body and pay attention. Now, she doesn't have a lot about it. But when she walked in this time representing Mr. Steele, I noticed it. I noticed it, the frame. You understand what I'm saying? The top half, at least. I'm a fan of hers now. Because this judge is a piece of shite, man. You dig what I'm saying? And I don't have the clip when the judge asked him if he had an attorney representing him. He said, "Sure." Who is it? When that book said Ashley Merchant, bro, and she walked into that courtroom, man, you could have saw the jaws drop. Did you hear the way that he's talking to Ashley Merchant, the judge? He knows it's up. It's 25, mind you. It's 25 lawyers in the lobby because Ms. Merchant is the president of GACTA. It's a big time defense lawyer group over there in Atlanta, Georgia, or I guess throughout the state of Georgia, and she's the Presidente, the El Presidente. When it's my time to give my belly, hey. But yeah, man, when she walk in, bro, I'm like, okay, it's up and it's stuck up there. You dig what I'm saying to you, man? She on it. She told him basically, you need to recuse yourself. But also, if you intend on holding my client for contempt, then, when it gets to be the time to take this to trial, it can't be in front of you. We need another judge. You're going to be biased. You're a witness to this here affair. And just mind you, man, this judge is dead ass in the wrong, bro. Like, oh man, they making Georgia, Atlanta, black people in power. They just making all of it look bad. You saw the way Ashley leaned down and whispered in Steele's ear. Ain't no telling what she said. She might have said some highly racist material. You dig what I'm saying? But I don't know. I guess a defense attorney ain't too racist. A defense attorney just defends criminals whether they right or wrong. So I ain't gonna play that card with her. She just may have had that sheen on her coming from the Trump deal. You dig what I'm saying? But I like her style, man, in this fashion, in this event right here. This judge is just absolutely out of sorts, man. I can tell you that my take from this whole thing is this will absolutely end in a mistrial. By the time this trial is done, no matter the decision, I would think that probably the decision will be not guilty to save them the embarrassment. Because if the verdict were to be guilty, because I'm not sure that this is a jury, let me not even get into it. I don't think it's a jury. It seems like the judge is kind of like the end all be all in this. And if the verdict were to be guilty, man, the appeal, of course, is going to say, man, listen, the documentation, the verbatim that came to my ears, I'm speaking as Attorney Steele, that came to my ears says that Little Woody, he ordered or carry out the murder on Nut. He's the ringleader of everything. He said that the judge told him that as long as he kept his mouth closed, they were able to send Young Thug to prison, that he'd give him $1 million when the suit is over. And there's nothing the judge can say. You dig what I'm saying? Whatever Mr. Steele says he heard and has documentation of, that's what happened in that meeting. Because the only way to say that it wasn't was for him to be present at that meeting and the judge forego that option to do something underhanded. So nothing about the verdict could be viewed as legit, man. You dig what I'm saying? I just don't even understand why that judge would even step into that kind of territory. It's one thing, I think it may have been one thing for him to meet with the prosecutors. But to have Lil Woody in the room, like, come on, bro, without everyone else. For all Mr. Steele knows that they could have went in there and like I say, Lil Woody was like taking the blame for everything, saying, man, send me to prison. Everybody else innocent. But you didn't let me be in on meeting. So it's a horrible look, man. And I do believe at the end of this trial, I don't think it's any kind of way that the verdict will stand up to appeal, after this. So they're back to playing it out, man. And, Ms. Merchant and her representation of Mr. Steele, I guess that won't come to sometime down the road. But you can kind of see it in the judge's demeanor and hear it in his voice. He's trying to wiggle and wriggle up out of that thing, man. He's trying to sound a little more forthright. But I think the frog is in the pot. I had to pot some over crazy. Some good analogy I was gonna think of, remember hearing, but I forgot about it when I went to see it. But yeah, man, that's been the update on that wild situation, man. We're gonna stay tuned and see what transpires from here. But as of right now, it looks like Thug coming home eventually, man, and not 20 years down the road as expected originally. So this has been that with This has been That Way with Jack Travis, man. I'm gonna get to y'all soon. Loud.